studio where you talk about an entrepreneur. We have a walking, talking entrepreneur, John Gwynne, Gwynne Prosser II.
Gwynne Prosser.
And John has teamed up with Mike Gillette, who I've also known for around that period of time, and they own Health Partners. And they are the premier company when it is a company that you want to deal with if you're in a fortunate spot of having had a serious accident. And in fact, the focus of your company, John, is really spinal injuries and closed-head injuries. Is that correct?
That's correct. Health Partners Home Care specializes in serving people that have brain injuries and spinal cord injuries from auto accidents.
Right.
And we've been doing that for 20 years all over Michigan. And we have a wonderful program that starts with our excellent clinical leadership. And we treat our own employees with great respect and honor, and they do a marvelous job taking care of families in the community.
And I was impressed just recently, within the last 30 days, I called you after the quote-unquote, they call it normal business hours. It was around 7 o'clock in the evening. I said, John, I just got a call from this woman who feels she's getting shortchanged in the coverage for her son who's been involved in a serious car accident. And without missing a beat, you offered to read the policy to identify what she is entitled to for coverage and was not really getting the service. So I hate to put you on the spot, but are you open, John, to if anyone is listening before they have a serious accident, to review their policy to see if indeed they understand it?
Absolutely. People can visit our website, which is healthpartnersinc.com. That's Health Partners with an S, INC.com. And when they go to that website, they'll see everything about our philosophy, and they'll find my name and contact information. My 800 phone number is there. But importantly, they can watch the Mitch Album advocacy video that we have produced about preserving, protecting, and strengthening the no-fault law here in Michigan, which is what you're referring to. Michigan is unique in all the world. We have unlimited lifetime medical benefits under our unique scheme, which is funded by drivers, for drivers. And many people are unaware that, in fact, there are certain things you need to have in your policy that if you don't have, you should convert it immediately. You should have full wage and full medical, which makes your auto insurance policy primary instead of having them put it off on your health insurance. A lot of people that are catastrophically injured that have a coordinated benefit, meaning the auto carrier has made the health insurance primary. If you burn up that major medical aspect on your auto accident, what happens if you get sick with some other disease 20 years down the road? Who's going to pay for that? So that's a very important component. You also need to make sure you have high limits on uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, which means you can file a claim on your own policy if someone is at fault and hits you and causes harm to yourself or your loved ones. But in terms of the review, if people were to go to the website, find my contact information at healthpartnersinc.com, the fax number's there. They could fax me their policy. My email address is there. They could email me the story about what they have, or if they have a question regarding their loved ones that have been injured in an auto accident. I'd be happy to talk with them, review their circumstance, and point them in the right direction about what their rights and benefits are under the no-fault law. Yes.
So there is a phone number that...
Certainly, the toll-free number is 888-299-9800. 888-299-9800. And please ask for John. And I'm the only John in that office, and they'll happily steer you in my direction. If I'm not there, please leave a message on my voicemail, and I'll get back to you just as soon as I'm able.
Right, and I'm impressed you've got now 6 offices throughout the state. Is that correct?
We have been delightful about our progress around the state, and again, it's about based on our mission, you know, the golden rule. What if it was you that suffered this catastrophic injury? What would you want? What are your hopes and expectations? And this is what we have endeavored to manifest as a company dedicated to serving this population of people. It's a terrible thing that happens to people that is terribly unsettling on many levels, and yet our goal is to bring some normalcy back to the life of the family, the loved one that's injured, and provide 24-hour care for people that have brain injuries and spinal cord injuries. Our offices are in Traverse City, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Lansing, Southfield, and Flint. So we virtually cover most of the state of Michigan.
And one other thing that really impressed me was when I had a referral for Health Partners. Your partner, Mike Gillette, first thing before I went into detail, said, well, I'd like to send out one of our nurses to meet with the client.
Yes.
Which in most cases, that may come up after you've filled out all the necessary paperwork and what have you. You have a human being that's professional, meets eyeball to eyeball with these people. You make individual house calls, and correct me if I'm wrong, but anyone listening, and if they're confused by some of the buzzwords you may have used in terms of actual coverage, you can review that policy and highlight what they may want of their agent, so they don't have to switch companies at all, only if they have to. So it's not like you're looking for how to badmouth whatever and the company. You can point out to that individual, your existing agent can and
modify your policy.
That's right.
Yes.
Because that's the biggest fear most people have. Now what you brought out, which I think we should really stress, is that your current policy should have a rider, so to speak, that if you're hit by someone who is not insured, that you indeed have the best opportunity of being covered.
That's correct. It's very inexpensive. People don't realize for a cup of coffee per month, I'm talking $6 a month, you can buy a $500,000 per person, $1 million per event coverage on underinsured and uninsured motorist coverage.
And that's right on your own policy. All right, we'll be right back. And we are back with John Prosser.
Well, it's a way of designating a difference, and there are other John Prossers. I don't know them all, but once I learned that there were people around the country that I shared a name with, I thought, well, I need to stand out. How do I do that? So I used my full birth name of John Gwynne Prosser II.
You said you actually will meet with people eyeball to eyeball yourself.
Absolutely. Go to the hospital, go to the home, visit with them to discover what we can do to be of service to them. Even if their loved one's already been injured in an auto accident and they think they're getting everything that they're entitled to under the law, that oftentimes is not the case. And I'm happy to have that conversation with them. People enjoy the personal visit. That's what I would want if it was me.
And one of the sad parts, and I've seen it so many times, is that when you're involved in such a traumatic situation where you're being bombarded with all kinds of different things that your loved one may need for rehab, is you, quite frankly, are so stressed out you don't think clearly. So you were saying that if someone that's listening has a friend or a loved one that they feel is not really getting the services appropriate, you can point out to them what they are missing out on. Is that correct? That
is absolutely correct. And in addition to that, I have a free video that I produce, and it's 55 minutes long. And people can go there and watch me delineate exactly what is covered under the lifetime medical benefits that are provided under the No Fault Act. In order to get to that video, you need to visit the website called neurotramaassociation.com. That's N-E-U-R-O trauma, T-R-A-U-M-A, association.com. It's all one word, neurotramaassociation.com. And when they go to the home page, they'll be able to scroll down and see the video. It walks people through the process. This could happen, this does happen. These are what your rights and benefits are under the Michigan No Fault Act. People don't realize in Michigan we have $13 billion in our catastrophic fund. And that money is put there exclusively by drivers. Insurance companies do not put any of their money there. We, the drivers, fund this entire system. And it's unique in all the world. No other state has this model, although Florida is looking at adopting this model. I was recently on the phone with the governor and his staff in Florida, Rick Scott, who's fascinated with the fact that he can create tens of thousands of jobs prevent people from going bankrupt due to the medical bills that are often associated with catastrophic injury, and most importantly, give people the unlimited medical benefits that they need to take care of their loved ones as a result of a catastrophic injury.
Well, you know, talking about this 55-minute video, it might be of interest to people if they belong to a group and they're looking for different themes when they have a meeting.
Yes.
Why not have the video available, and then you could facilitate in answering specific questions?
Absolutely. There's about 600,000 people a year, Ike, that have a brain injury in an auto accident in America. It's a silent epidemic, which is why it's so important to preserve and protect and strengthen the law here in Michigan. Health Partners, we're active advocates in Lansing working with the Coalition to Protect Auto No Fault. And if they go to our website, healthpartnersinc.com, that'll direct them to that coalition link, which explains all the current proposals. Right now we have 2 bills in the Senate that are proposing to dilute PIP benefits, cell gradations, which is a ridiculous notion, and actually limit some of the health care benefits under the law. This is an initiative put forth by the insurance industry, of course, based on greed. They simply want to make more money. We believe that we'll succeed in this regard, but if citizens get involved and contact their legislators and say, hey, I'm against that idea, that would be most helpful.
We're going to get back on that through your book for a few minutes right after our break. And I want to talk about how we can educate consumers about no-fault automobile insurance. Don't go away. Let's talk a minute about your book, The Educated Consumer Guide to No-Fault Automobile Insurance, and it's available as an e-book for just $3.50 or something?
That is correct. They can go to authorhouse.com.
And what is the walk-away messages, possibly, from your book?
Well, for 38 years in Michigan, we've enjoyed, in the singular wisdom of our legislature, the most superior law for satisfying the needs of the catastrophically injured, anywhere in the world, anywhere in the country. And the fact of the matter is people are going bankrupt all over the country from their catastrophic injuries. And if the states were to adopt this model, then they would prevent that bankruptcy due to the medical bills, but more importantly, give people everything they need. So my whole observation was the Wall Street Journal said, look, the states that'll innovate, they'll save billions in Medicaid. Well, how do you do that? I had my epiphany one day and realized if everybody that's catastrophically injured in an auto accident is falling to Medicaid, they're a tremendous challenge to fund that system in every state. This will save billions for each state. On the other end of the spectrum, if you don't get any benefits and you're paralyzed and you develop decubitus ulcers and there's no one there to serve your needs, you're going to suffer and you're going to die. And that's ridiculous and it's unnecessary. So for 38 years we've had this in Michigan, and all I did was try to convey the idea, look, if you adopt this model, funded by drivers, for drivers, this will manifest all of these benefits. The hard part for people is believing, A, that we've done this in Michigan for 38 years, or that it can be done, or that we have $13 billion in our catastrophic fund put there by drivers. Once they can drill down and see that this is in fact totally a factual assertion, people are awed. And they're like, wow, yeah, we want this to happen. I ran into the attorney for the governor of New York. They spend $50 billion a year on Medicaid. And she told me she believes 40% of that is auto-related. That's $20 billion a year. Run that out over 20 years. That's $400 billion that could be saved in Medicaid that you could spend on education and roads, etc. At the same time, giving those catastrophically injured people and their families all of the resources that they need. So that's what the book's about. You can buy an ebook for $3.50, and I am donating profits from books to the Brain Injury Association and the Spinal Cord Injury Association. This is what we've attempted to do at Health Partners, is try to empower citizens to understand their benefits and rights. Mitch Album did a public service announcement for us, and it's at the website, healthpartnersinc.com. Go there, check it out, call me if I can be of service. I'd be delighted to take your call.
Fantastic, John. We'll talk again soon, and keep on doing the great work. And you are a best example of someone that is one human being that can indeed make a fantastic difference when people are faced with a terrible tragedy.